Hi, my name is Aya and I'm here to do a very fun video. I'm going to talk to you about the spiciest book I've read. Obviously, spice can be interpreted differently for a lot of people. These are the spiciest books that I have read, so I'm just going to tell you about them. I am very interested to hear about the spiciest books you've read, so definitely let me know in the comments below. The first one is Sea of Ruin by Pam Godwin. This is a historical dark romance and it is very, very spicy. Basically, you follow this pirate named Bennett and she's been on the run from her husband for 2 years and she gets captured by this pirate hunter named Ashley Cutler and their romance. This was so hot. This is my first Pam Godwin. It will definitely not be my last. I did really enjoy the way she wrote the spicy scenes in this book. Some of them made me uncomfortable, definitely. It is dark romance for a reason. But if you're okay with dark romance, I would highly, highly recommend this one. The Twisted series by Anna Huang. Honestly, all of them are pretty spicy, but these two are my favorite. Actually, I'm gonna put these down because it's messing with my white balance for some reason. Twisted Games is about a princess and her bodyguard, and Twisted Hate is this basically enemies with benefits type of relationship turned obviously to love. There are some scenes from Twisted Games that live in my head rent-free. Anna Huang knows how to write her spice. The Twisted series is actually the only series I've read by her. Obviously, her newest series is on my TBR, but yeah, they are hot. And yeah, there's this particular throne scene from Twisted Games that is just chef's kiss amazing. And yeah, Twisted Hate also is really hot. The other two, even though they're not my favorites, also have some very good spicy scenes. So I would recommend this series if you for some reason have not read them yet. Next is the Tempting Monster series by Catherine Moon. My favorite of that one is The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor. This is basically monster banging. It's a white shoes romance with monsters. So this book has some like well-written sex scenes, but also there's a lot of them because there are at least 5 men that are love interests. So yeah, there's plenty of couple scenes, but also like group scenes. This, like, if you like monster romances and you have not read The Lady of Rooksgrave Manor yet, I would highly recommend it. I loved both of the books in this series, and both of them have amazing spice in them. Next is The Dare by Harley LaRue. So this book, the ebook version got banned on Amazon because I guess it was too kinky. I don't know. Like, I don't see anything wrong with this book. This is a story of 2 consensual adults. But this series is actually a prequel to the Loser series, which I have not read those yet. But if this is any indication, this 144 novella, from what I've heard about the Losers, and I actually bought the first one, so the little bit of, like, I skimmed it a little bit, and from what I've seen so far, those books are also very, very, very spicy. But I'm gonna just talk about this one, considering this is the only one I've read so far. By the way, Harley LaRue knows how to write some spice. If you're looking for a good, like, new author that does sex scenes very well, I would highly recommend her. This is about this girl who used to bully these losers basically in high school. And this is basically a revenge story for one of them, where they get into a dare and she has to be his sex slave for the night. And she kind of discovers more about what she likes in sex, basically. Oh, this was so hot and so good. And yeah, I would highly recommend it. Like I said, you can buy the paperback version of it on Amazon, I'm pretty sure, but you cannot buy the ebook. So I think Eden Books has them. But yeah, if you can read them, I would highly recommend it. And Losers, I still need to read it, but I have a feeling it's gonna be like 5 chili peppers worth of spice. The Planet of Desire series. So this is basically an alien romance, but it takes place on this sex planet. Basically, everything on this planet is an aphrodisiac and it makes you want to bang, otherwise you're in extreme pain. I mean, is that not just the best premise for a story? So we follow this girl. The first one, I've read the first two, which involves humans with this like alien species. The other two involve aliens from this sex planet, basically. So like basically the air, everything you drink, everything you eat makes you just like horny all the time. So in the first book you follow, and basically in this world there's this like big war going on between humans and this particular alien species. And so one of the alien species gets into the humans' spaceship, and they crash land on this sex planet. And they basically have to rely on each other to not die from horniness. The premise is ridiculous, and I loved every second of it. So yeah, obviously this means that you have to have a lot of sex to not be in extreme pain. It was so good. Other than the whole spice, I did really enjoy this story, especially the first one. I thought was very good. The second book has like these sex games, which is basically like you have to perform and then you get points for like the most creative, I guess, sort of sex. I don't know. Ridiculous yet amazing at the same time. Forbidden Fling by Kat. I don't know, I'll have it here. It's basically a pen name for Katie Robert. This is not really a romance. It is basically just erotica. And it is a novella about this girl who basically cheats on her loser boyfriend with his father. And it's not a love story, it's just them having sex. And yeah, Katie Robert knows how to write spice. Speaking of, her Touch of Taboo series is very, very good. I've only read 2 of them. Your Dad Will Do and Seduce My Guardian. So like, Your Dad Will Do is one of the smuttiest things I've ever read. It's actually one of the first like really smutty things I've ever read. It was so good. This is everything that I thought a Birthday Girl would be, which Birthday Girl I did not really love, but Your Dad Will Do. You know, I love the fact with Your Dad Will Do that there was no pretense about it. Like she literally wanted to get revenge by sleeping with her ex's dad, which I mean, good for you. But the things they do in this book, whew, and the amount of like this is top tier smut. And same with Seducing My Guardian. Basically this girl who has had a crush on her guardian for years. I think he's 10 years older. Basically her parents died and he was her guardian, but he did not really take care of her. He basically just, I think he sent her money, and every year around her birthday he would like check in on her. And they, like I said, she had a crush on him. They never did anything about it, obviously. And now she has decided to recreate all those birthday parties, or like birthdays where he like rescued her from different types of situations, but now they reenacted by actually having sex. Great. If you're looking for a good smutty author and you've not read Katie Robert for some reason yet, then I would highly recommend her. Next is The Bully by Sophie Lark. So Sophie Lark really knows how to write smutty scenes. However, in her other books, like there are sex scenes in them, obviously, but not as much as in The Bully. And this was kinky. It was so, so good. Dean, he can get it any day of the week. I'm gonna put this down, by the way, because white cover, I don't know, messed up with my white balance for some reason. Basically, in this book, there's this sex deal, and the main female character has to basically do anything the main male character wants for an entire month. They basically have sex every night and they experiment with each other. It's so good, so good. And that is like the first pretty much half of this book is basically just like a lot of sex scenes. So that's what makes this book smutty. However, this book you cannot really read on its own. So I don't know if it's a good recommendation, but I do think it's a good incentive for you to read Sophie Lark because all her other books are really good as well. This is my favorite, and this is the spiciest, definitely. And last but most certainly not least is The Frat Boy by Nikki Sloan. So this is my first Nikki Sloan, and definitely not going to be my last. I've heard amazing things about her. Basically, The Frat Boy is about this 2 college students. And one of them is in a fraternity, one of them is in a sorority, and they have this game where they have to compete. And during the game, the girl accuses the guy's team of cheating, and basically it results in a huge mud fight and basically just lots of childish behavior. So they both get kicked out of their houses, and now they need to look for new housing. So they both apply for this job that's basically just making adult films, but you also get to live in that said house. So they both show up at the audition and find out it's each other, and they basically have this like so they have to audition with each other. It's basically like this hate fuck. It was so good. And you follow this book, just them shooting these adult films with each other plus other people. It was so hot. And it just made me want to read more of Nikki Sloan. Definitely her Nashville Neighborhood series, which this is a part of, but also like her Filthy Rich Americans. Like, I'm just so much looking forward to Nikki Sloan. Her spice was top tier. So these were like the spiciest book I've ever read. I have read other spicy books, which I'll talk about in another video. This is not going to be my only recommendation videos. I am pretty much a hoe. I love spice in books, and if it's well-written spice, that makes me very happy. I do obviously also want plot, but I feel like with all of these, most of them actually have a plot, and also like except The Dare, which doesn't really have a plot, but it does set up 2 books. So yeah, I would highly recommend any of them. And if you don't like a whole lot of spice in your books, then definitely steer clear of all of these, because it's very, very explicit. Anyway, like I said at the beginning, I would love to hear your recommendations for the spiciest books you've ever read. And I want to thank you so much for watching. Have a wonderful rest of your day, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.